are wrapping up the first week of the restart in your Honda PBA Philippine Cup 2021 with the action coming to you from the Don Honorio Ventura State University in Bacolor, Pampanga, as we are about to present a double header. Started with the basketball game between the Terrafirma Dyip and then the Blackwater Elite, and then a battle to determine which team will be the #1 squad so far, as we have the Magnolia Hotshots Pambansang Manok going up against the TNT Tropang Giga. But the question now is, will it be 3 in a row for Terrafirma after they picked up a couple of huge upset victories against the San Miguel Beermen and Barangay Ginebra in rapid succession? Carlo Pamintuan and Ali Peak on the call for PBA Rush and Ali. Both Terrafirma and Blackwater came to Pampanga holding identical 0-4 win-loss tallies. Now Terrafirma can start dreaming of a playoff spot, while the Blackwater Bossing may be 2 losses away from being the first team to be eliminated out of playoff contention.
Well, it sure looks like that for Bossing. You know, it's just been a really rough tournament or conference for Blackwater. You know, and they have a lot of good pieces there, and they are a pretty tough team. I think that they're a lot tougher than what their record shows, but it's just been really unfortunate. Now, Terrafirma, a lot of confidence coming into this game because they have a chance to go on a 3-game winning streak. Not just confidence, but huge confidence. Why? Because they beat San Miguel, they beat Ginebra coming into this basketball game.
As you can see right now in our team standings, they are knocking at the door, tied for that 8th spot with the Alaska Aces, above teams such as the Phoenix Super LPG Fuel Masters, Northport, and of course, Blackwater, which has yet to pick up a victory. It's not too late yet. 5 more games for Blackwater, so there could still be a possibility of them getting into the playoffs, but Ali, they have to start winning now.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, they got to put some wins together, put some sort of streak like Terrafirma, but Terrafirma knocking on the door, like you said, knocking on the door with teams such as Alaska. So again, huge confidence build, momentum build definitely, but at the same time, Bossing has to figure out how they're going to beat Terrafirma tonight.
So Barangay Ginebra surely was already on notice after the Jeep upset the San Miguel Beermen during their last game, but it did not prevent them from the same thing happening to Barangay Ginebra, the defending champions. As you can see, the Jeep just scorching hot from the 3-point range.
I think anytime you face the defending champions, you're going to bring your A game. Terrafirma did just that. You look at some of that output there, 41% from 3-point range, 23 assists, which was really impressive for Terrafirma.
And this was the main reason why they scored back-to-back victories, because he scored back-to-back career highs, talking about Huami Chongson, as his output has been unbelievable. Look at these numbers. 28 against San Miguel Beermen, career high. 32 against Barangay Ginebra, career high, alongside those 9 3-point conversions. If you were talking, Ali, about confidence, you cannot be as confident as Huami Chongson has been in the past 2 games.
Those are huge numbers, really huge numbers, especially against really good teams. But I've always been impressed with Huami Chongson ever since he was playing for NLEX. I always thought that he was a great heads-up point guard. He has that capability of being able to have big games.
But the scoring alone doesn't win you games. You have to have people who will do the dirty work, who will do the other things that would make up, you know, a good basketball team with a lot of effort, and it has been Matt Ganuela's roster doing that role. 7 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals. Not eye-popping numbers, but certainly helpful to the cause of Terrafirma.
I think you always need someone that is willing to do, you know, the things in between. I call them the intangibles. You look at those numbers there: 7 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals. Defense, pretty efficient from the field, even though he didn't have as much of a scoring output, but also a very athletic player in Matt Ganuela's roster. And he has that experience. He has that championship background, particularly when he was playing for San Miguel.
You saw
and
that,
TNT for that matter.
You saw that highlight stop he had against Japet Aguilar, where he just caught the ball midair and just took it away from Japet. One of the highlights of the game, and certainly, you know, it could deem that as a turning point for Terrafirma, because they stood tall, stood strong against Barangay Ginebra, and left the message that they will not be pushed around any longer. 0-16 in franchise history against Ginebra, finally picking up their first win. Now moving on to the other side for the Blackwater Bossing. Again, a tough performance for them. so far in your Honda PBA Philippine Cup 2021, suffering another loss at the hands of the Magnolia Hotshots Pambansang Manok. You know, Magnolia came into this matchup angry, looking for a way to vent out their frustration after that shock loss to Meralco.
Yeah, they did. You know what? Blackwater came out pretty well. You know, their first 2 quarters, they were pretty solid. They went on a 9-0 run in that first quarter to Magnolia, but of course things really started to come apart for them. Things start to unravel in that 3rd quarter, and then things start to really unravel in that 4th quarter. But again, it's been really tough for this Blackwater team.
That was the problem, Ali, in their game as well against the TNT Tropangiga, because the 3rd quarter, ended up to be their undoing. They were ahead in the first half. What are the adjustments that are necessary for them to stay competitive in the 3rd?
I think, when things start to go south on them, that's when they really start to fall apart. The thing about a good team is that they will stick together. They will really stay strong, stay focused when things start to get really bad for them. I think that's one of the biggest challenges, to stick together and try to figure out a way to sustain a lead if they have the lead, or find a way to come back.
No, because the defensive tenacity of the point guards for the Magnolia Hotshots, it was a tough game for Simon Enciso. He has been the leading scorer of the Blackwater Bossing, averaging 17 points per ball game, good shooting at 42%, but he was absolutely locked down, 20% 2 of 10 against the Hotshots.
I'll tell you, when you start making a lot of noise the way he has so far in this conference, despite the record, 17 points per game, teams, especially some of the top defensive teams, start to really key in on you. He's going to have to figure out a way, because the same thing I guarantee you is going to happen again tonight. They're going to really try to key in on him, and he's just going to have to figure out how to find his mark through the course of the game.
Another challenge for the Blackwater Bossing is to find the other players who will be helpful, and so far Kelly Nabong, their pickup during the offseason, signed him as a free agent. He has been doing tremendously, 19 and 14, a big double-double for Kelly Nabong, but sometimes he has a propensity to go into foul troubles, and that eliminates him from the matchup, and that just puts so much pressure on the already limited front court rotation of Blackwater.
I think you're right, Carl. I think he has to really figure out how to limit those types of fouls, but nonetheless, those are big numbers versus Magnolia, 19 points, 14 rebounds. Really, he is the only physical presence for Blackwater at this moment underneath the basket or in that paint.
Versus Blackwater Bossing. And now let's meet the starters first for Terrafirma Dyip. A 5'8" guard from Sinai City, Negros Occidental, number 8, JP Calvo. A 6-foot guard from Davao City, number 31, Reden Zelda. A 6'5" forward from Malay Aklan, number 10, Andreas Kahilig. A 6'7" forward from Cebu City, number 17, Aldrich Ramos. And a 6'10" center from Caloocan City, number 1, James Laput. Head coach for Terrafirma is John Cabdel. And now the starters for Blackwater Bossing. A 6-foot guard from Bicol, number 0, Simon Enciso. A 6'2" guard from Dingalas Ilocos Norte, number 8, Ed Dakiwag. A 6'2" forward from Mandawi City, Cebu, number 7, Ron Dennison. A 6'4" forward from Novaliches, Quezon City, number 21, Carl Brian Cruz. And a 6'6" center from Santa Maria, Bulacan, number 33, Kelly Nabo. Head coach for Blackwater is Nash Racela. Our referees for this game, Ray Yante, Romel Gruta.
So very interesting to start. No Huami Chongson, the player who scored back-to-back career highs in their wins against the San Miguel Beermen and Barangay Ginebra, will not be starting this matchup. Those are your referees, and this will be your Honda tip-off, brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA. Our first week of action in the restart in Pampanga for your Honda PBA Philippine Cup 2021. And Coach John Cardell of the Terrafirma Dyip, Ali, has been, proud of what Huami Chongson accomplished, but he keeps on saying that it's not just Huami Chongson, it's the entire team becoming, a little more confident with the work that they put in during the love.
Well, throughout this conference, we've seen a lot of good things from this Terrafirma team. We've seen some of the promise especially from some of the younger players. And then just to think, you know, Joshua Bunzon and Roosevelt Adams not available. If you can imagine if they're actually healthy and playing, especially when they're making this run. But they're doing it without those two players.
How about this for confidence? A 5-0 start for the Terrafirma Jeep. And it's just everyone. Again, it starts with Wami, but it involves the rest of the team.
Yeah, it's going to be a team effort. But you know what? I've always liked the way Coach John Cardell's teams have played. They played really hard. And again, you see a lot of good things from each and every one of their players.
Another good attempt there coming from the Jeep, but coming up empty was Andres Cahilig on the putback attempt. Still a 5-0 start. Exactly what the doctor ordered. Andres Cahilig, you know, he is not mentioned a lot in terms of the discussions for the Terrafirma Jeep. We mostly talk about Aldrich Ramos and Eric Camsol. But surely he has an important role as a defender, as a shooter, even at his size.
Yeah, he's about 6'5", right? And he can knock down 3-point shots. We saw that over there in the corner. But those are some of the assets that he brings to this Terrafirma team.
Blackwater still looking for their first basket of the ball game. Still nothing there, but Kelly Nabong getting the offensive rebound and scoring on the putback.
That's a nice rebound there by Kelly Nabong. We're starting to see many different facets of Kelly Nabong's game, but I also think that it's because of the development through the years. We're really starting to see what he can do. And sometimes, you know, when you're in these types of situations, you're sort of forced to really bring out a lot of the things that you have in your bag.
Laput with a hook shot that will not bounce in. This is something that Terrafirma has done in the past few games. They wanted to establish Laput early in the contest.
Well, I think that's something that really needs to be done. And this is a work in progress. I would have liked to see Laput really try to back down Kelly Nabong a little bit closer to the basket. He has all that size. Speaking of size, that's a lot of potential down low.
6'10", Laput, the rookie. You know, he calls himself the project. He knows that there's a lot of work to be done in his career before he can be, you know, one of the better big men in the PBA. But so far, he's been, you know, doing well in the few minutes that he's provided. Unfortunately for him, he was not able to step out of the shaded area as he's called for a 3-second violation.
You know, normally what I used to do when I was playing, Carlos, I would look over at the referee, and as long as the referee sees that you're making an attempt to walk out of the shaded lane, he won't call it. So that's something that he's going to have to really pick up on as his career goes forward here. But I don't think he should consider himself a project. Look, you're here already. There's a lot of expectation of you. All right, just go out there, play your game, keep improving every single time you play.
I think it's largely because he was not able to really play in the UAAP, playing for the De La Salle Green Archers, of course. So he knows that he has to convince people that he actually deserves a spot more than just being a tall guy at 6'10".
Yeah, I get that. I really do. You know, establishing yourself in the league can be challenging. But again, I've seen a lot of good things from him. He also does a good job of running the floor and finishing.
Good split on double team. They're coming from Zelda. Oh, unfortunately for Laput, he was not actually looking at the basketball. Could have been an easy basket for him as Enciso scores with a nice stride to the hoop.
You know, sometimes that's what you're going to have to do if you're Simon Enciso. You know, of course, teams are keying in on you, trying to shut you down. Sometimes you have to be a little bit more aggressive when starting the game.
Now, these are the fouls that Kelly Nabong will have to learn how to avoid.
So nice take here by Simon Enciso. Taking on to be about 4 defenders there. And let's not forget, Simon Enciso is pretty good at attacking the basket and finishing, something that he did a lot of when he was playing in the D-League.
Of course, you know him as a streaky shooter, but that does not, you know, that does not mean that he doesn't drive to the hoop.
Exactly.
Aldrich Ramos with the size advantage could not score on the baby hook, but Laput is there for the pickup.
There's a lot of footwork that it looks to me there's a lot of things that he has to work on. One of them, James Laput, that is his footwork and the way he positions. There he could have actually just planted and used his size, especially to gather and go up strong.
And Coach John Cordell immediately puts in Joseph Gabayani, who has been a solid contributor for the Terrafirma Jeep in their past couple of games. Kelly Nabong lost control of the basketball, sends it out now. 4 seconds in the shot clock. Simon Enciso for 3 to beat the buzzer.
There we go. With hands all up in his face.
So after a 5-0 start for Terrafirma, Blackwater responds with a 7-0 run. Calvo mid-range jumper, no good. Nabong with another board. Kelly Nabong goes behind the back. Yep, probably not the greatest of ideas. And it will lead to 2 easy points for Terrafirma.
Just a little bit too much dribbling there. We saw turnovers very similar to that in their last game versus Magnolia. It's something that they're just gonna have to figure out how to control.
Ali, in your entire career, how many times did you dribble behind the back on a fast break opportunity?
I never did. But I did have quite a few no-look passes. I mean, I led the break a few times. But I never dribbled behind my back.
Because
I never had to.
It's just inviting disaster, right? There are too many quick guards out there.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from my dribbling capability.
Of course.
But yeah.
Of course.
I mean, when you have guys like Johnny Barrientos floating around out there, I mean, no way.
Another 5-0 blast for the Terrafirma Jeep as they take a 10-7 advantage against Blackwater. Fast approaching the midway mark of the opening quarter. Another mid-range jumper. Still nothing there for Zelda. Good effort coming from Gabayani, but he will run out of space and step on the baseline to give the ball back to the Blackwater Bossing.
Gabayani is such a big guy. We're talking about James Laput. Yeah, he's 6'10", but Gabayani looks like he's 6'10" width-wise. He's a big dude. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about him.
Yeah.
He's a big guy.
He's a presence, yep. Certainly. Dakiwa gives the ball up to Nabong. Shot lock reads 10 for Blackwater. Hard show. Nice pass inside, but Kelly Nabong just could not hang on to it.
He knows it. It was a good idea. Nice high-low there.
Would have been sure 2 points if he caught it, as finally we get a first glimpse of Wami Chong-son, who has been on fire in their past couple of games. 9 3-point conversions, Ali, in their last contest.
Now, possibly Coach Cardell is just trying to give him some rest. You know, he had some major outputs against 2 very tough teams. You see Ed Dakiwa doing what he does really well, is attacking in the open court.
Silly turnover coming from Calvo. Look at this. The defense that Blackwater is playing against Wami Chong-son, almost just ball denial. They will not even allow him to touch the basketball. That's how good he has been in their past 2 games.
Concerned about him they are. But that looked to be a 3-2 zone.
Back-to-back turnovers for the youngster Calvo. First, this one easily picked off by Ed Dakiwag. And when you have Dakiwag on the open court against 2 smaller guys, it's goodbye.
It's good anticipation by Ed Dakiwag there. Great defensive play.
1 point lead still for the Terrafirma Jeep, as this time out is brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA. Good matchup here between the Terrafirma Dyip and the Blackwater Bossing. Entertaining first half of our opening quarter as the score is 10 for Terrafirma Dyip and 9 for the Blackwater Bossing. We thank you for joining us on PBA Rush. Carlo Pamintuan and Ali Peak on the call. The 5 for Coach Nacho Stella involves Nabong, Canaleta, that's Enciso, Desiderio, and Dakiwag. Enciso for another 3. Too strong this time. Rebound for Ramos. He is joined by Matt Ganuelas Rosser, Chongson, Gabayni, and Rashawn McCarthy, who will fake, drive, draw the defense, and kick it out.
So you have Terrafirma's second unit in now, which is not a bad second unit at all. The starter looks to be Aldrich Ramos. But Mr. Intangible, Matt Ganuelas Rosser, now into the game. Sean McCarthy, who has also a lot of experience into the ballgame.
Colomia and Baser Amer will now enter the contest for Coach Nacho Stella. And you can see the ball denial against Wami Chongson. They will not allow him to beat them in this ball game.
You know, I think Coach Wu's nice offensive rebound and putback by Gabayni. Again, his contribution is big. Last 2 wins for Terrafirma.
Ali, this is something that we saw from the Rain or Shine Elasto Painters when they were going up against the Phoenix Super LPG Fuel Masters. They baited anyone else to beat them except Matthew Wright.
Absolutely. And you know what? It had to have been frustrating. You could see it in Matthew Wright's body language. But just an unbelievable game, especially in the last few minutes of the fourth quarter.
Baser Amer kicks it out to Colomia. No advantage there as they will set up their offense. Amer does not use the screen, penetrates and scores on the layup.
Baser Amer is starting to look more comfortable, look more like himself. Kind of struggled in the beginning of the conference. But it's just good to see Baser Amer starting to come back here. It's a nice take.
Well, struggling is an understatement. He was averaging 4 points, Ali, in their first 4 games.
You know, sometimes it's just a bit of a shock. I would imagine. Take a look at some of the offense run here by Blackwater. Sort of get back into this ball game. And again, Baser Amer doing a really good job.
Just a great read there. Great read coming from Baser. He knew that Rashawn McCarthy overcommitted on trying to deal with a screen, so he doesn't use it, goes to the other side and scores the layup.
These are some of the details that Terrafirma is going to have to really get a little bit tighter on defensively. But if you're Wami Chongson, I'm sure Coach Cardell anticipated that something like this was going to happen. So even more important for other players to really fill in that space that Wami Chongson has been over the last 2 games.
That was his first touch and his first look at the basket in this ball game. Coming up empty was Wami Chongson. 14-12, 2-point lead for Blackwater. Look at this. Outstanding ball handling coming from Amer. But Desiderio was in too deep. They're denied by Gabayni. An extra possession for the Bossing. Amer, foot on the line, could not convert for 2. Gabayni, McCarthy. Rashawn uses the Gabayni screen. Matt Ganuelas Rosser.
That zone's been working for Blackwater the last few minutes here.
Canaleta from the outside, no good. Rebound for Rashawn. Oh, good pass inside. Again, Gabayni just being the right place at the right time.
Nice pass from Aldrich Ramos, big to big action.
All is the score in this low-scoring first quarter of basketball. Colomia, straight away 3 is money.
He's always up for any type of shots.
Yep, this guy does not run out of confidence. He could be called off the bench and not be shy to take a three-point
Shot
shot.
at all.
Ramos counter three. That's good.
Buckets being exchanged here by both squads.
Oh, just along to apparently for Aldrich Ramos as Blackwater remains ahead by a single point, 17-16. You know, coaches would call this a trap game for Terrafirma. You have two emotional, close upset victories against SMB and Barangay Ginebra. And then you start to think that Blackwater might be a little easier.
Absolutely not. No way. I mean,
exactly, and that's why it could be considered a trap game as we have a timeout. 17-16, 1 point lead for the Blackwater Bossing. Look at the numbers of Baseramer. 4.8 points, less than 20% from the three-point range in their first 4 games in Pasig. But then in Pampanga, as you said, Ali, he's regaining some of the confidence, averaging 9 points, but we know he's capable of so much more.
I think this is just sort of a prelude to, more output. Again, you think about the change that he had to go through. That is a big trait, and especially, you've been with Morocco for such a long time, and then all of a sudden you're put into this type of situation. So for some players, it can be a bit of a traumatic experience, and, it takes time to really adapt and, in some cases, accept the situation that you're in. But it's good to see Baseramer looking a lot more like his normal self. Oh, man. It's a good idea there by Gabaini. Kamsum couldn't handle the ball. I don't even think he expected that.
Off a timeout, turnover again to Terrafirma Dyip. A minute and 13 seconds remaining in our first quarter. We're glad that you're joining us on PBA Rush. Carlo Pamintuan po kasama si Ali Peak. Blackwater naghahanap ng kanilang unang panalo. Terrafirma looking for their 3rd straight win. Matt Ganuelas-Rosser with a rebound, and he will start the break. Gets the ball back. Kicks it out to Rashawn McCarthy. Nothing there. As you can see, the defense is focusing on Wami Chongson. They do not want him to touch the ball.
They don't want him to get off, but that was good interior defense. Baseramer right on point, Carlo, knocking down a 3-point shot. We were just talking about him and how he's really starting to come back into his own. But we've seen different types of defense so far by Blackwater, and it's confusing Terrafirma's attack. See this kick out here. Baseramer spots up for that 3-point shot.
And it looks like, Ali, the fact that they could not get Tiongson going is starting to frustrate the entire squad of Terrafirma.
Well, they had to have anticipated something like that. And something like that was eventually going to happen. Again, that's why other players have to really step up. But at the same time, Coach Cardell has to figure out other ways of getting Wami Chongson activated offensively.
Amer uses the screen. Tolomia now has possession. 4 seconds in the shot clock. Tolomia drives, and he scores with a layup.
Sometimes when you're playing against a team that's struggling all conference, they can be the most dangerous. Oftentimes you would think it's the best team in the league. Look, this is a very tough team, and I said this earlier, they are a lot better than what their record shows. And you have a lot of players who have tons of experience on this Blackwater squad.
That was the last foul to give up for the Blackwater Bossing. And it will leave Terrafirma with just 2.6 seconds in their shot clock.
Richard Escoto for Colorado Cruz.
Chongson to beat the buzzer. Misses from deep. The tip in. Almost, but not quite for Joseph Gabaini. Outstanding first quarter performance coming from the Blackwater Elite. A strong start from the Terrafirma Dyip, but Blackwater playing their box-and-one defense against Wami Chongson has allowed themselves to grab the advantage after the first 12 minutes of action. Coming to you from the Don Honorio Ventura State University in Bacolor, Pampanga, Blackwater 22, Terrafirma 16 at the end of the first quarter. Gusto mo ba ng kakaibang viewing experience sa PBA? Register to join the PBA Virtual Fan Experience and become a bida fan dahil dito sa PBA, tayo ang bida. A registration link will be posted a day before each PBA game day on PBA, PBA Rush, TV5, and One Sports Facebook pages. So please register and join us as a PBA Virtual Fan. Back on PBA Rush, Carlo Pamintuan and Ali Peak on the call. Ali, in terms of adjustments, what do you want to see coming from the Terrafirma Dyip to overcome this 6-point deficit?
Well, first of all, they're going to have to figure out the type of defense that Blackwater's running. You know, they've been struggling with, you mentioned the box and one. We also saw a 3-2 type of zone defense. We also saw a 2-3 type zone defense. Seems to be confusing them. Also, I think that bringing Wami Chongson off the bench may have not been the right move. You know, look, let the guy pick up where he left off. It seems to have offset Terrafirma's offense, but they just have to recompose themselves and settle down a little bit. You know, and also sometimes sometimes things like this will happen where you play against a team where their record is not so good. You get up so high for some of the top teams in the league like San Miguel de Nebra that maybe your intensity might not as be the same going into this type of game. But they did get off to a pretty good start.
That's why we kept mentioning this as a possibility of a trap game for the Terrafirma Dyip. But if you are angling for a playoff spot, these are the games that will really determine if you can get there or not.
For sure. And Terrafirma, again, they have the opportunity to go 3 straight here. And if you could imagine how much momentum that would be. But right now they're in a bit of a battle.
Good drives coming from the guards. Oh, the Blackwater bossing. Earlier it was Amer, now it is Tolomia scoring, and it will be an N1 opportunity.
Blackwater being able to score out of this scramble here. Just a good heads-up play. Tolomia taking it strong to the basket.
FEU guards hanging midair, scoring in traffic. Nothing new, huh?
Nothing new. I mean, this is generational.
You can trace it all the way to Johnny Abarrientos.
Yeah, Johnny Abarrientos. I remember playing with, what's his name? I just had a brain fart.
A lot of outstanding guards. Denok Miranda was also
Miranda. I'm talking about a guy before that. Man. It'll come back to me.
26-16, a 3-point shot won't work for Rashawn McCarthy. So you can see the frustration, Ali. because you can't get into your normal flow of the offense, which features Wami Chongson a lot, you tend to rush things now for Terrafirma.
Yeah, there's doesn't seem to be a balance there. And then also, they haven't done a really good job of adjusting. Now, sometimes coaches won't start a player that's been hot the last 2 games because they want to take some of the focus off of that player, particularly when the opposing team is preparing for them. In this case, it just didn't seem like it's worked. But again, other players, this is the opportunity for them to really step up for Terrafirma.
Now this bench crew of Basera Mer and Mike Tolomia doing very well for the Blackwater bossing, but just as we say that, offensive foul is called against Amer, shown by Andreas Kahilig. As we check out our team standings very quickly there, look at this, a push off against Andreas Kahilig. Well done by the big man. You don't see normally big men being able to stay laterally with guards and able to draw fouls.
I think that was probably the best fundamental type of defense that you can execute, drawing a charge.
Oh, Roosevelt Adams, his first look in Pampanga. Actually, this is the first game that he's playing, Ali.
Well, he did have a bit of stomach problems. That was the reason why he wasn't able to be available. But he's another guy that we also want to see his true potential. Simon Enciso knocks down a 3-point shot. A lot of talent on this Terrafirma team.
Careless turnover. That's turnover number 10. Simon Enciso could not make it back-to-back 3-point shots though. Chongson uses the screen. Kwame goes to the corner. Baseline jumper, nothing there for Adams. Mike Tolomia in between game. Nice one-hander.
He's feeling it. I love the way that he ran off that pick and roll, using the big man well. We're seeing a lot of that type of play, even in the NBA.
Double-digit advantage now. Biggest lead of the ball game so far for the Blackwater, bossing 31-21. Good patient offense coming from Terrafirma, leading to that wide-open 3-point shot from Aldrich.
That's one of the keys there for Terrafirma to get back into this ball game. Just really work the ball around, try to find the open man, and knock down the shot.
Again, they had 17 triples in their victory against Barangay Ginebra. But so far, it is the guards of Blackwater really loading up on the offense against the Jeep.
Colombia and Ciso, Basera Mer really getting off in this first half. It's nice passing here, good patience, like you said, Carlo. Aldrin Ramos wide open at the top of the key.
So at least for the Terrafirma Jeep, they finally got back Roosevelt Adams, now only missing the services of the #1 pick, Joshua Munson. Kwame Chongson trying to get himself going, trying to just get anything, a look, a foul, shoot free throws, do something.
I think what's good is that he's actually trying to slow things down. I think Terrafirma needs to slow down a little bit, get into their offense, put together some points, but also not rushed offense.
Oh, Simon Enciso had a good idea there, just could not execute it properly. Batelier drives strong, and he will be rewarded with 2 free throws.
Fouls out number 8, Terrafirma. That's his third foul. 14 fouls for Blackwater.
This could be problematic for the Blackwater bossing. 4 team fouls already. We still have 7 minutes, 39 seconds to work with in the second quarter.
This is where one of the reasons why they start to sort of fade off. You know, they'll have those types of spurts where they look really good and they'll have control of the basketball game, but then all of a sudden, you know, a couple of turnovers here and there, failed defensive stops, and then all of a sudden the other team is back in it, and then that's when the morale starts to drop. And
it was something we saw back-to-back in the third quarters. against TNT Tropang Giga. Magnolia hot shots for Blackwater. Timeout requested by the Bossing. 7:34 remaining in your second quarter. 6-point lead for Blackwater. This timeout is brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA. Back inside the Don Honorio Ventura State University gym in Bacolor, Pampanga. Roosevelt Adams, our first look at him. And the PBA restart missed their first 2 games. I'm sure he was very happy, to cheer for his team. I'm sure he was kind of annoyed that he wasn't there to help out against SMB and Barangay Ginebra.
But he's got to be really happy for his teammates and the way they've been playing the last 2 games, and being able to come back and do whatever you can to contribute. But Roosevelt Adams has a really good attitude. I used to coach him. We were back at College of St. Benilde, and he was playing for Gold in the D League. Really good young man. Wants to go out there and do all the right things. But Carlo, the guard that I was talking about from FEU, when we were talking about FEU guards, Leo Avenida.
How could you forget that?
I shouldn't forget him because I sell vitamins to him.
Meanwhile, back to live action, we have 2 free throws coming right up for Aldrich Ramos after a foul was whistled against Marion Magad. Rolled his ankle in their first game, in the opening seconds actually, of their first game against the San Miguel Beermen. As Ramos, a steady presence. You know how JR Quinahan is for NLEX? That's how Aldrich Ramos is for Terrafirma.
Yeah, he reminds me so much of Yancy De Ocampo, though. I'd say around the same height. All right, Yancey's a little bit taller, about 3 inches taller. But just, sort of that same vibe, and they can knock down those 3-point shots.
Yancey's also a little bit meaner, I think.
Yancy became meaner as he grew older.
No, we say that on the court, of course, not.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
Extra possession here, but Elier forces it up, misses. A rebound for Magat.
I still think that Terrafirma needs to slow things down a little bit more to climb back into this game.
Desiderio posting up against Chanson. Kicks it out. 3-point shot is up and in for Ed Dakiwak.
Ed Dakiwak, nice in and out game there. Paul Desiderio, nowhere to go, finding Ed Dakiwak for the 3-point shot.
Batelier kicks it out. Adams drives baseline, loses the ball on his way up. As you can see that he's still trying to get the feel of the game because, a month out of action, missing the first 2 games, it's not automatic.
Yes, this is a guy that averages around 10 points per game for you. Although I do believe he has a lot more upside, but it's all about getting comfortable with the team that you're playing with, what the coach's expectations are of you.
8-point advantage still for the Blackwater Bossing, as we're currently at the halfway mark of our second quarter. Carlo Pamintuan and Ali Pig on the call. Desiderio kicks it out to Nabong, fakes the 3. Hands it off now to Enciso. That might be a kick. Reset the shot clock to 14.
Blackwater's doing a really good job of moving the basketball around. Even when they get into trouble, when when they get trapped or the defense converges on one player, they're able to scramble out of that and convert those possessions into points.
Desiderio dribbles to a spot, kicks it out to Nabong. Kelly attacks, goes the other side. Good drive.
They respect his three-point shooting so much that they forget that he can actually put the ball on the floor and attack pretty hard.
Back to a double-digit lead for Blackwater. Andreas Kahilig misses the three this time around. Good tap there, as Kelly Nabong almost travels.
Almost. I would say, Carlo, that Blackwater's offense looks a lot more balanced, looks a lot more patient as opposed to Terrafirma. Terrafirma looks like they're rushing shots. See this take here by Kelly Nabong, first layup. I want to see him dunk the ball.
Miss from the stripe for Paul Desiderio. Still nothing on the board for Hwami Chongson. Only 2 attempts. He has a rebound and an assist. That should be, some sort of a lesson for Terrafirma. Hwami can't be there scoring 30 every game for you to win.
Absolutely. It is supposed to be more of a balanced attack for any team for that matter. But right now, and I'm just going to keep saying this, I got to give credit to Blackwater because they're showing different types of defenses to Terrafirma as well.
Hwami, good pass down low. Ball rotation, Kahilig gives it back to the corner. Nothing there for Zelda. And Ciso leaves the ball for Nabong. He has a speed advantage against Gabayni. Steps back for 3, no good.
I like that step back.
Good little pass inside. Again, Gabayni just does the simple things for you.
I think that's part of the key of climbing back into this basketball game for Terrafirma. Finding the bigs, cutting down the middle like that. So far, too many outside shots. I mean, Bruce Adams had the right idea, attack the basket. I think that's what they need to do more of, attacking the basket, putting pressure on the interior defense of Blackwater. Getting fouled, going to the free throw line.
Even more defenders coming in. As Canaleta also checks back into the contest. 6 points, 3 rebounds for Gabayni. He had career highs in points and rebounds in their win against San Miguel Beermen, standing toe-to-toe with just players like Motau Tua and Junmar Fajardo. No biggie.
Exactly. I mean, we've seen him do that when he was playing with Global Point. Coming off the bench, providing really solid minutes.
Good kick out pass. Dakiwag for 3. Good again.
It's great ball rotation on the part of Blackwater. Really spacing the floor. Finding those open shots.
8 points for Dakiwag. Second 3-point make.
Whoa.
Gabayni got clocked after the rebound. But I think it is Terrafirma that's going to be whistled for the foul. It'll be interesting to see that again.
There's a lot of contact there.
Oh yeah, he was dragged down as Kelly Nabong was trying to regain his balance after drawing the foul initially. Biggest lead of the ball game, 13. Nabong can add to it. Misses the 3 though, as the ball will go back to Terrafirma.
I thought that Kelly Nabong could have rotated that ball off to the other side. Yes, we know that he can knock down those 3-point shots, but he could have found his teammate wide open.
Ali, I'm a little bit confused with the shooting of Matt Ganuelos Rosser, because earlier he shot a mid-range jumper with the left, but we've known him to be an orthodox player.
I don't know. I really don't know. I should know, but I don't know, Carlo.
Meanwhile, a 3-point shot coming from Zelda. Kelly Nabong misses on the putback attempt. Matt Ganuelos Rosser will attempt power this fast break. The layup is good with the right hand.
He is right-handed, right? I'll ask
he
him.
is.
I'll send him a message on Instagram and ask him, what are you? Are you left-handed or are you right-handed?
He is taking most of his layups with his right, but
And then he shoots with his left hand.
left hand.
Yeah,
Even his free throw, sometimes he shoots with his left. As Zelda converts on another three. That's 2 triples now for the Den Zelda here in the second quarter. Terrafirma starting to hum even without points coming from Wami Chongson. You're liking what you're seeing right now because the other players are stepping up.
Well, this is a nice take here by Matt Ganuelas-Rosser. This is one of the things that he's really good at. And then we see an assist by Matt Ganuelas-Rosser next time down the court to Zelda for that shot. 3-point shot.
And now we transition into a full timeout. Terrafirma Jeep calling this one as they're starting to knock on the door against the Blackwater Bossing. While it was Wami Chongson who led the attack for the Terrafirma Jeep, forwards Eric Camson and Aldrich Ramos showed that they were also hungry for success. Double-digit scoring, double-double actually for Eric Camson with 13 rebounds as well. These two forwards, you can call them journeymen in the PBA, but they are finding the second win of their careers, at least here in the Honda PBA Philippine Cup 2021.
Well, I've always thought that Eric Thompson has so many things in his arsenal, so many offensive weapons. Aldrich Ramos, we know what to expect from Aldrich Ramos, those 3-point shots. But both of these guys are very, very capable in having big games.
Only a 5-point lead now from a high of 13 for Blackwater. Canaleta open for 3 all day to shoot. It looks like the defense got there. Zelda bothering it enough for an air ball. Kahilig momentarily open, drives closer, met by the defense as he is fouled.
That's what I was talking about earlier, Carl. They were settling too much for outside shooting, plus there were rush shots. Now that they've climbed back into the game, the reason is because they've slowed the pace down, especially when they got into their half-court offense, and they just worked the ball around, looked for better opportunities. Kahilig saw that opening in the defense and decided to attack the basket, the right thing to do. Right now, I think Terrafirma needs to focus more on points in the paint and taking more mid-range jump shots as opposed to 3-point shots.
Kahilig converts on both free throws as he inches his team closer. Just down by 3 now, 40-37. Good resolve being shown by the Terrafirma Jeep. Denison misses from the corner. Rebound for Gabayni. I like that battle. Gabayni versus Nabong.
They were teammates at one point over at Globeport, weren't they?
Yep. Ganuelas-Rosser takes the handoff. One-hander does not roll in. Good tap there. Smart move coming from Zelda.
Good hustle there. You know, I really like the way Matt Ganuelas-Rosser and Gabayni are crashing the boards. They're putting a lot of pressure on Blackwater.
Carl Brian Cruz and Marion Magat re-entering the contest. Cruz has not yet become a factor in this ball game. He played very well against the San Miguel Beermen, converting on 3-point shots, being a threat from the outside. Huge size advantage here for Matt Ganuelas-Rosser, and that's the result. They paid too much attention to him that he was able to create for Gabayni.
Again, penetrating, attacking the basket, drawing the defense in, finding open open teammates.
12-point turnaround already for Terrafirma rather. They were down by as many as 13. Simon and Ciso finally ends that rally from Terrafirma with a triple.
Blackwater did a good job of whipping that ball around the three-point line, finding Simon and Ciso in the corner there for that three-point shot.
Zelda uses the Gabaini screen, splits the double, one-hander, no good. Rebound for Magat.
Almost a turnover there by Blackwater.
And just 4 seconds to cross for the Blackwater bossing. Well, that's something that Terrafirma, I think, should have taken advantage of.
Yes. We try to press them.
3-point shot for Amer, no good. Rebound Kahilik. 40 seconds remaining. Blackwater already in penalty. Terrafirma with a foul to give. And Zelda kicks it out. Kahilig another three on the way. Still struggling after making his first attempt from downtown. A little too creative right
I
there.
mean, those are just unnecessary shots. And that's also been one of the downfalls from Blackwater.
Sean McCarthy continues to score the final basket in this first half of play. Marion Magat got to it, but a couple of more ticks remaining for the Terrafirma Jeep to try and score. Inch closer here in the second quarter. Simon and Ciso telling them just to switch everything to make sure there are no miscommunications on defense.
That's what's normally done defensively, especially when there's only 2.1 seconds left on an inbounds.
So at the end of the first 24 minutes of action, the Blackwater bossing were able to build a 13-point advantage thanks largely to the efforts of this man, Simon and Ciso. Already with three-point shots, 11 points in total, but he got a lot of help from Mike Tolomia and Baseramer as well.
Yeah, he did. This is really important for Blackwater because Simon and Ciso had been struggling the last few games. Of course, Baseramer looking like his old self. We see a lot of good ball movement by the bossing in this first half. Again, Simon and Ciso knocking down 3-point shots.
And as a result, the Blackwater bossing will be holding a 4-point advantage, 43-39, heading into the third quarter of action. At the half, the score is 43-39 in favor of the Blackwater bossing as they're trying to stop a streak from going on for the Terrafirma Jeep. So far, so good for Blackwater, but they led by as many as 13 points already. Now only ahead by 4. Carlo Pamintuan and Ali Peak for PBA Rush. What was the story of the first quarter, Ali?
Well, I think that we saw a lot of great execution by Blackwater. It's one of the reasons why they were able to control the game right off the bat. Simon and Ciso was sort of the spearhead of that attack. And then, of course, Baseramer getting involved with his 3-point shooting, averaging 9 points the last couple of games. So he's really starting to come alive. And then we also see some execution on the part of Terrafirma. Albert Ramos knocking down 3-point shots. But, you know, guys like Mike Tolomia answering right back with his penetration. He's averaging around 11, 12 points per ball game, one of the top scorers of Blackwater.
But in the second quarter, a lot of offense coming from the guards of Blackwater. As you said, Tolomia, Amer, and Ciso with his shot shooting from the outside allow them to build the lead as big as 13 points, with the Kiwok also shooting well from the outside. But what allowed Terrafirma to slowly sneak their way back into the game?
I think one of the ways that they snuck back into the game was just simple execution, not rushing their shots, getting into their half-court sets, figuring out the multiple defenses by Blackwater. But of course, you know, Blackwater still edged out Terrafirma at the half, but take a look at some of these halftime stats. You look at the field goal percentages, almost the same, 37% for Bossing, 34% for Terrafirma. I want to go to rebounding because I think that was one of the biggest keys. You asked Carlo how Terrafirma got back into this ball game. A lot of it was crashing the offensive glass and giving second, third chance opportunities to Terrafirma. 33 to 22 is a big discrepancy. Also turnovers actually in the favor of Blackwater. So Terrafirma is going to have to do a much better job of taking care of that basketball.
Your halftime stats brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA. Your leading scorers, 11 for Enciso. You know, it's mostly the guards doing the damage for the Blackwater bossing. And the big name missing there is Wami Chongson for the Terrafirma Jeep. Still nothing on the board for Chongson as the defense of Blackwater has been focused almost solely on him.
Be curious to see if Wami Johnson is inserted into the starting lineup to start the second half. That could be a possibility because they went on that run towards the end of the second quarter to get that margin a lot closer.
Let's see how the Blackwater bossing will adjust after the halftime break. We've seen how they struggled to perform well in the third quarter against TNT, against Magnolia as well. Can they find the offense that could help them rebuild a double-digit lead, perhaps? Or will they fall for the same trap as we're seeing right now? Tolomia, actually in the ballgame, we almost always see him coming from the bench, but Coach Nacho Sela, perhaps sensing that he wants more offense, starts Tolomia. Wami Chongson also starting for Terrafirma.
Well, I was right on point with Terrafirma starting with Wami Johnson. I think it's the perfect time because, again, they went on that run. But if you're Blackwater, you want to sustain the lead. You don't want to think too much about trying to extend the lead. You want to focus on the now, what's going on in front of you. And one of the things is trying to figure out the problem of rebounding. It seemed to be their problem in their game versus Magnolia. They don't really have much height as opposed to the girth that they do have. And that's one of their downfalls, this whole conference, rebounding. So that's something that they're going to have to really focus in on in this second half. Boxing out, securing those rebounds.
That's Desiderio, Tolomia, Nabong, Enciso, and Carl Brian Cruz as the 5 for Coach Nacho Sela. Enciso missing the triple. Rebound picked up by Aldrich Ramos. He is with Matt Ganuelas Rosser. Wami Chongson. That's Andreas Kahilig. And Reden Zelda as a 5 for Coach John Cardell. Chongson picks a 3. Bounces it to Aldrich Ramos, who was not ready for the pass. Turnover for Terrafirma. Enciso open for 3. No good. Might have been an early shot, but if you're Simon Enciso, you have the license certainly to take that shot.
I'm sure he was given that green light, but they still have to be a lot more aware, a lot more conscious about the situation at hand. He could have waited for more of his teammates to come up the court.
Still nothing on the board for Wami Chongson after missing another 3-point attempt. Duty foul given up by Matt Ganuelas Rosser as he felt the defense was not set yet for his squad.
Biggest thing for Blackwater, now that Terrafirma has really started to make their run, of course, this is a fresh start, third quarter. Keep the positive attitude going. When things start to go bad, you still want to stay positive. And I think that's been one of the downfalls for Blackwater. When things start to go south on them, of course, just no wins so far this conference really starts to creep in. And, I've been on teams like that where you sort of subconsciously in the back of your mind, you expect to lose because you haven't gotten any wins the entire conference yet.
The feeling of impending doom, right? I mean, you sense that your opponent's starting to get back into it, and you feel that it's a familiar story.
Oh, here we go again type thing.
2 free throws for Kelly Nabo.
2 free throws coming up for Kelly Nabong. Andres Kahilig asking for an offensive foul, but there was a clear bump coming from Aldrich Ramos first. As Coach Nacho Sela looks on 44 to 39, a 5-point lead for his squad with Kelly Nabong having another free throw.
I'd say the other physical presence underneath the basket opposite Kelly Naba would probably be someone like Marian Magat. I mean, true to the inside. I kind of want to say CBC, but we see CBC doing a lot of work on the perimeter.
Yep. Aldarat Ramos attracts two defenders. Good pass to Tiong Son. And this is exactly what could get him going. Be at the free throw line, take 2 free throws, see the ball go through the hoop, rebuild confidence.
Moving without the ball, you know, getting the ball on the move without having to create your own shot. Yeah. But Aldarat Ramos has seen some legendary, he's played with some legendary guards in his time throughout the years. And, you know, the way he was able to deliver the ball to Wambi Chonks, that was a nice pass. I remember Coach Tim Cohn saying, guards, cut to the basket. We have big men that love to pass the basketball.
Aldarat certainly, you know, a capable passer. As shown in that last play, almost a turnover there against Blackwater. Tolomia goes to the corner and sees a nice pass.
Nice
CBC on the board.
Wide open, CBC.
And those are the things that you actually want CBC do as Tiong Son. Again, it was all about confidence. He made the 2 free throws, makes a 3.
Sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need to go to the free throw line and just settle yourself in, knock down those 2 free throws. You feel good about yourself, you feel confident, then you get into that stroke, you get into that rhythm and timing.
But when I had an interview with the best shooter that the country has ever produced, Ali and Alan Kaidik, he told me that when he enters the game, his first order of business is not to take a 3, it's to take the ball to the hoop, get a foul so he could shoot free throws. That was how he got himself going each and every game.
You know what, I mean, that was one of the ways I'd get myself going as well. You know, you first of all, you got hit, okay? You know, that's out of the way. Especially if you're going up against a really physical team. Like, that was my mentality going up against Ginebra and Red Bull. I knew I was going to get hit. Okay, that's out of the way. I dealt with that. Now I'm going to the free throw line. I could get my stroke. I could get my, you know, get a little bit of my confidence in, get that rhythm in, and then I'm comfortable right after that. So it makes a lot of sense.
Ron Dennison putting in the work here, getting an end-one opportunity. These are the extra possession guys for Coach Najusela.
It has come in handy so far, especially again because Terrafirma was knocking on that door. And what the Boss Team have done a pretty good job of is just keeping the runs of Terrafirma at bay.
Dennison could not complete the end one though, so the lead will stay at 4. For the meantime, for Blackwater, 50-46, 4 minutes gone by here in the 3rd quarter of action. Matt Ganuela-Strasser, kick out pass, comes on, almost dragged his pivot foot, was able to retain his balance. Tiong Son, the jumper, no good.
It's really good defense by Blackwater.
Colombia will not force it. CBC pulls the trigger. And sometimes that's the problem with CBC. He looks for the foul a little too much.
You're right. That wasn't the best shot selection by CBC, period. And that's got to be driving Coach Nash crazy right now because they're only up 4 points.
Now, there were a couple of times where he actually got the foul against the San Miguel Beermen. But there's a balance between still allowing yourself to focus on your shot and forgetting about the shot completely and just focusing on the foul.
Yeah, for sure. I think you know, for some players, that takes practice to recognize and to be well balanced, knowing what's a good shot to take and what's not a good shot to take. Getting back to Matt Ganuela-Strasser, I really like the way he attacks the basket.
With the right hand?
With the right hand, with the right hand.
Yep, and now shoots free throws with?
Yeah. Is he shooting with the left hand?
With the left hand.
I mean, some guys are like that.
Yep, Christian has also done that. 1 of 2 for Matt Ganuelos Rosser, and we know the free throw has really not been a strong suit for Matt.
The first time I saw anything like that was Loyola Marymount University, Carlo, 1990. Hank Gathers. He's right-handed, but he would shoot the ball left-handed.
Good patient attack there coming from Kelly Nabong. Gathered himself first before going up strong for the basket. 5-point advantage for the Bossing. Calvo in the ball game now, Chongson. Goes the hard show. Kamson, good pass. One-handers money for Matt Ganuelos Rosser.
Some really good shots there, really efficient shots by Terrafirma. I like the way that Thompson was able to spot a cutting Matt Ganuelos Rosser.
But so far, so good here in the third quarter for Blackwater.
They're holding the lead, and that's important.
And Ciso does not get the bounce. Loose ball foul against Escoto. Oh, this one more time. Draws the double. No help defense. Well, the help defense bit on the fake. Look at the extra passing coming from Kamson. It was a shot that he was capable of making, but he saw Matt Ganuelos down low. And it just the confidence is, infectious for the Terrafirma Jeep. Everyone, in the zone looking to help each other out.
Yeah, the passing is also infectious. You see some of your teammates setting one another up really well. That makes you want to pass even more.
Look at that play. Look at how happy Kamson was for Rashawn McCarthy after setting a screen for him. But a good response on the other side for Paul Desiderio. Quick 2 points coming from Blackwater. Matt Ganuelos Rosser kicks it out to Kamson again. Takes the 3. Dribbles in closer. And he's fouled for 2 free throws.
Kamson has so many different types of weapons. You can put the ball on the floor. He can hurt you from the outside. But let's see this pull-up by Rashawn McCarthy. Just good passing displayed by both teams the last few minutes of this quarter.
Now we have a timeout coming up. As Blackwater is at 54-41 against the Terrafirma Jeep. Third quarter of action inside the Don Honorio Ventura State University in Bacolor, Pampanga. Carlo Pamintuan and Ali Peak for PBA Rush. We're seeing the bench currently of the Terrafirma Jeep wanting to get a winning streak going. They've won back-to-back. They won 3 in a row. And this was the first 3-point conversion for Wami Chongson. Had 31 points in their last game, a career high against Barangay Ginebra. But the defense has been all over him throughout this contest. Finally got going with that triple and 2 free throws.
Well, he's going to have a big second half here, but I think that shouldn't be so much the focus, although that is very important for Terrafirma. But what we're seeing, though, even though they're down 3 points, Carlo, we're seeing a lot of other players getting involved offensively, and we're seeing a lot of great passing by Terrafirma, which is also very important.
The Terrafirma Jeep doing well here in the third quarter, as you said, sharing the wealth, looking out for each other, not settling for the first open shots. See if they can turn things around here in the third as Amer is dealing with the defense of Batelier. Desiderio gives the ball up to Nabong, looking for his options. Kelly Nabong to the corner. Desiderio for three. That's good.
Oh, Desiderio was looking for that shot. You know, it didn't work out from the top of the key, but then he cut to the corner. Kelly Nabong found him. He was able to stroke it.
Just continued the action, continued to move, and trusted that his teammates will ultimately find him for an open shot. Oh, tough pass there. Kamson almost not catching it. McCarthy drives. One-hander's good right at the buzzer.
He's got so much length and athletic ability. It's one of the bigger guards in the league.
Paseramer with a strong drive to the hoop.
Beautiful take by Paseramer. Strong take.
Amer continuing his solid play. 9 points. Couple of rebounds as well. Kamson manages again just to hang on to that pivot foot. 3-point shot will not work as a foul is called against Kamson.
With ball foul number 13, Eric Kamson. That's his first 5 team fouls for Terrafirma.
Blackwater getting good numbers from the bench for Tolomia with 9. Amer has 9. Desiderio has 6 also. On the other side, Gabaini leading the bench players of Terrafirma with 9 points alongside 5 rebounds. Have not seen him yet here in the second half as Kamson's doing pretty well in manning the middle.
Well, they're connecting pretty well. Kamson and, well, who was in the game earlier, not getting well as roster. Now Aldrich Ramos back into the ballgame.
Sean McCarthy gives the ball up. Kamson straight away 3, no good. Rebound for Dakiwak.
One of the things that Blackwater's doing a good job of is controlling the rebounds, getting the defensive rebounds to ignite their offense. Just as I say that, Escoto runs the floor, puts himself in position underneath the basket, gets fouled.
Escoto playing as a 4 in this lineup. Certainly has some speed. Beating the other bigs down court, giving himself position, but he misses the first free throw. But again, this quarter has been a big problem for the Blackwater bossing. Now, they're managing to, at least stay ahead in this matchup.
I'm sure they're aware of it too. Now they're in a 2-1-2, looks like. A 2-3. Something that I'm sure that Coach Nash has been really harping this entire conference.
5 seconds to shoot. Aldrich Ramos forces it up and in.
We're seeing a lot of what Aldrich Ramos can do. Look, it's very rare that you see him operating inside the paint.
Amer, one-hander, no good in traffic. Chongson with the board. Little bit of color developing between Magat and Rashawn McCarthy. Rashawn misses. Tough angle for him. As we swing back to the other side, that is not a great foul. They're already in the penalty, and it was largely because of the frustration that he did not get a call on the other side.
Well, he did get bumped pretty hard. You gotta still find a way to keep playing here.
Terrafirma Jeep requesting a timeout, as this timeout is brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA. Free throws coming up for the Blackwater bossing when we come back from this break. Our tournament format, 11 games after a single round robin. Top 8 teams will advance. We will use the PBA quotient. And we will only play a knockout game if there is a tie for the 8th and the 9th spots. Top 2 teams will be twice to beat. 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5 in a best of 3. And that is how we will determine who will be the champions of your Honda PBA Philippine Cup 2021. But right now, Ali, it seems like, you know, the Magnolia Hotshots, Pambansang Manok, and TNT Tropang Giga are starting to separate themselves from the pack.
Yes, they are. They've been playing pretty good basketball, especially TNT.
Yeah.
You know, in considering some of the situations that they've been put in. But Magnolia, you know, obviously those trades seem to work out in favor of Magnolia because you look at what they've been able to do. Of course, that front line of Magnolia being a little bit more beefed up, with Calvin Abueva being added to the core.
Another foul here against Roshan McCarthy, as he will give up 2 more free throws for Blackwater. And that is why our next matchup, Ali, is so interesting. TNT versus Magnolia, the top 2 teams in the league right now. And it will tell us who will be the #1 team so far.
It's a really good matchup.
Because if you look at it, of
I'm
course,
looking forward to that.
TNT is undefeated, right? But Magnolia only lost control of the ball game in the final 2 minutes against the Meralco Bolts. That was the only time that they did not look, you know, solid throughout their first 5 games as well.
I mean, sometimes those things happen. You know, you're looking at Rain or Shine when they played Phoenix.
True.
Right? And Rain or Shine was at that point, they were like, I believe, the top 4. And sort of fell in love with their lead. Didn't think there was much of a threat, especially with less than 5 minutes left in that 4th quarter. And then guess what? Matthew Wright ends up knocking down that game-winning shot. Short of the game-winning shot.
Macera Mer missing on this triple, as Terrafirma will get another opportunity to inch closer here. Rashawn McCarthy kicks it to the corner. Batilier for 3. No good. Aldrich with the offensive rebound. Put back too strong though. But there is a foul from behind. That's the final foul that Bossing could give up here in the 3rd quarter without paying for it with free throws.
I tell you, there's nothing more dangerous than a team that's screaming for a win, the way Blackwater is.
Yep.
They've had some tough breaks in this conference. Particularly the games where they were in a pretty good position to control the game all the way through. So that's going to be the challenge going into the next quarter.
Oh, nice pass. Aldrich Ramos through the contact and made the basket. He knew that he could get the contact because it was a smaller defender on him.
Zelda making a nice drive to the basket and drawing Aldrich Ramos' man over to help, and Aldrich wide open for that drop pass.
Again, it just shows you how a solid big man who does the rebounding and then has, you know, a reliable stroke from the mid-range will get a long career in the PBA.
Of course, you know, and he is a bit of a journeyman because we've seen him play for multiple teams. But teams know what he brings to them, what kind of package he brings to them. And this is the most I've seen him, seriously, this is the most I've seen him, Carlo, operate down low. Most of the time he's spotting up, knocking down 3-point shots.
Played for San Mig Coffee, for Alaska, Air 21, NLEX, Mahindra. Well, this is the franchise before.
Morocco Bull at one point too, right?
Before
Morocco
going
Bull still,
to Magnolia again.
I mean, I could see why he was with San Mig Coffee when Tim Cohn was there, because, you know, he's the ideal big for Tim Cohn and what he wants. Terrafirma now look to be a 2-1-2 zone, 2-3 zone.
And now we're all tied up at 63 apiece. Minute and 27 remaining here in the third quarter. Roshan drives it strong to the hoop for
Beautiful
two.
take. I love that hesitation and then attacking the basket, going up strong.
And then, of course, he barks on Marion Magat as they've been engaged for a couple of minutes now.
Yeah, McCarthy's been engaged with quite a few players throughout the city. I remember the one with Terrence Romeo.
And with Chris Ross as well during that
Chris
game.
Ross.
Oh, that's a wild drive coming from Tolomeo. Well defended. Simon and Ciso. Did he put that up? Referee saying yes. Referee saying he was able to beat the buzzer, but that was tight, Ali.
It was, and that was a good shot and a good answer by Blackwater.
Roshan, counter three, no good. Ramos with another offensive rebound. Fresh 14
wide
on the
open.
shot clock. Simon read it well.
Albert Ramos did not see Kahilik in time.
Good response for the Blackwater, bossing to get the lead back, and Ciso against Zelda. Simon sends it out to Lomia against McCarthy. 3 seconds remaining in the shot clock. Lomia in trouble here. Push shot, no good, but Marion is there for the cleanup.
Beautiful. I actually thought that Marion Magat was going to roll to the basket off that pick, but it worked out fine because he was able to clean up the offensive rebound.
4 seconds to shoot. Tough layup coming from McCarthy. Frustrated without a call. And the Blackwater bossing will find a way to stay ahead at the end of the third quarter of action. The score is a 3-point advantage as Baceramer continues his stellar play. 11 points. His first time, I believe, to score in double digits here in the Honda PBA Philippine Cup 2021. Can he provide important buckets for the Blackwater bossing in the fourth quarter and help them grab their first win of the entire conference, 68-65 in favor of Blackwater, heading into the fourth and final quarter of action.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got a correction on the score.
Aldrich Ramos continuing his stellar play for the Terrafirma Dyip. Always reliable. Always a threat from the outside.
Well, he's been doing it, like you said, Carla, from different angles, different spots on the court. 13.7 rebounds, 2 assists in his performance so far for Terrafirma.
This is the fourth quarter brought to us by TAPCO, our official building and finishing partner.
All right, fourth quarter of action has just started at the Don Honorio Ventura State University Gym in Bacolor, Pampanga. We thank you for sticking with us here on PBA Rush. We had a correction on the score, Ali. It was 68-65 earlier, but upon review, our referees were able to determine that the three-point shot from Simon and Ciso did not beat the buzzer. You were talking about it. It was super close.
So that changes things going into the fourth quarter. You know, you're at a deadlock of 65. Now, taking a look at some of the production, it looks like Terrafirma has won the last 2 quarters. But in many ways, this is the test for both of these teams.
Oh, strong drive from Rashawn McCarthy. He has been engaged in a word war with Marion Magat and the rest of Blackwater, but he has also been focused in attacking the basket.
He's been doing a really good job. And you forgot to mention the referees as well.
But then Zelda wants to get that one back as he missed the gimme. Still, he was fouled, so he's on the line for 2.
You know what? Just looking at Terrafirma's lineup, you know, on paper, it is a really talented lineup. They have depth, they have size. You just imagine just putting this whole thing together. And many can say the same thing about Blackwater, except they're a little bit older. Right? Looks like Dennison, his finger,
His thumb, it looks
his
like.
thumb, may have been dislocated. You know, I've never had that happen to me. And I'm glad.
Really?
I've
Your
never had
entire career,
I've never
Ali?
had dislocated fingers. No.
Oh, for all the
I mean,
hacks that you get?
no, but it gets better, Carlo. It gets better. I've had 2 broken hands.
But never the fingers.
Never the finger. Well, actually, that's not true. I do have. You're looking at it right now. I mean, I do have a finger that's sort of popped out of place. It was never dislocated, but just all the years of it getting sprained.
But I'd imagine with a guard just taking a swipe at the ball when you have it.
I broke my hand because someone swiped at my hand trying to strip the ball from me.
Would you
and that happened in
remember who?
practice. Yeah, it was Japet Aguilar.
Oh.
And I remember breaking. I knew it because I broke my hand when I was 17 years old. So I knew the sensation. I knew how it felt like. And the funny thing is the trainers, they didn't believe me. I was like, listen, guys, I think I know it's broken. Yeah, I know it's broken. My teammates didn't believe me, particularly Jared Dillinger. I don't know why. It's always Jared. You know, he's always giving me a hard time.
Because they don't believe that you feel pain, Ali.
You know what? Okay, you just opened up a can of worms, Carlo. Like, we're not going to talk about the game right now. Okay, I'm just going to bring this up because whenever someone like Ryan Reyes or any other player, for that matter, from TNT would get hurt in practice, you would think that the paramedics, the fire department, you know, they were all called into action, right? I get hurt. No one. Absolutely no one. I got to walk to the PT. Yes, I'm saying it right now. I'm going on record. It was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
I'll just say.
I couldn't figure it out.
Suck it up, big guy.
Yeah. You know, this didn't just happen with Talking Things. It also happened in Alaska.
That's how much respect we have for your ability to overcome pain.
It's disregard. It could be potentially dangerous. I could have really seriously been injured.
But we're glad that you never was injured. Badly, Ali.
Yeah, I'm just, you know what? Hindsight is 20/20, and not for me though, for them.
69-65, 4-point advantage for the Terrafirma Jeep. 10.5 remaining in this 4th and final quarter. We're gearing up for a big ending between these two
It's
teams.
a very close game, Carlo.
Kelly Nabo missing from the outside. Last touch by Terrafirma.
Both teams understand how important this game is. Terrafirma, you know, really feeling good about themselves and trying to get that 3rd straight win. Blackwater scratching and clawing for their 1st win of the conference. A lot going on here.
For Bossing, their backs are already against the wall here, Ali. Carl Brian Cruz, you know, with nothing happening from the outside for him, he has changed it up. He has attacked the basket.
Well, you know, this guy has a lot of great capabilities underneath the basket in the paint.
Mid-range jumper, though, as a response coming from Zelda. Oh, sharp crossover. The layup is good for Dolomia.
Just back and forth baskets. And, you know, what I was concerned about on the part of Blackwater is them going down and losing control of the basketball game. You know, not having the lead anymore. We're seeing these finishes here. I'm not going to let's roster with reverse.
Just a really good 2-man game between him and Wami Chongson.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Dolomia is continuing to slice up the defense. Foul on the floor, not 2 free throws just yet.
The biggest concern here is how does Blackwater respond to this?
Yeah.
Again, the subconscious in the back of their minds knowing that they have not won a game yet. And is it going to happen once again?
Nabo hands it off to Enciso. Simon to Dolomia. Shot clock is at 6. Dolomia for 3, no good. Kahilig with the board.
That was good defense, a good challenge by Matthew Wallace-Rosser.
This is where you expect the confidence of Terrafirma to start being, a factor in the ball game. As we say that, Andres Kahilig nails a three-point shot.
Great execution there. Kahilig out there in the corner, stretching the defense out, knocking down that three-point shot.
When you know that you're capable of hitting big shots against teams like the San Miguel Beermen and Barangay Ginebra, you develop that confidence, and that is why Terrafirma is now looking good. 76-69, they have the advantage. This time I was brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA. The offense of the Terrafirma Jeep starting to hum. And what's impressive is that, again, they're doing this without Joshua Munson, with limited minutes coming from Roosevelt Adams, and with Wami Chongson only having 5 points in this ball game. Andreas Kahilig making that last triple.
But you know what? Here's the thing about Terrafirma over the last two games. They know how to win games.
Yeah.
Okay? And winning solves a lot of problems. You're taking a look at Kahilig's point production right now, 12 points. Really big shot in the corner before that timeout.
Now, who will take the lead here for Blackwater? Who will respond for them? Kelly Nabong with a strong drive. Hack fouled. He'll get to a free throw.
It's a nice take there by Kelly Nabong. Really taking all the contact, trying to force his way through the interior defense. Sometimes when you win, especially the way that Terrafirma was able to beat San Miguel and Ginebra, you go into this game understanding, having a little bit better understanding of what it takes to win, right? And you want to experience that feeling as many times as possible. So the result of that is playing a little bit harder, even when things start to get tough. And that's what we're seeing so far from Terrafirma. Now, with Blackwater having had control of this basketball game pretty much almost the entire game up until this point. Another great take by Matthew Wallace-Rosser. Again, are they going to get down on themselves?
This is now the biggest lead of the Terrafirma Jeep, 8 points. Blackwater bossing led by as many as 13 in the second quarter. As we have a loose ball foul against Escoto. Again, the question is, how will you stick together? Look at this crossover coming from MGR, just strong move, finishing with a right, and telling his defenders that they were way too small. You're up right here.
That's the new thing. Who created that? Who started that?
I will do some research.
Doncic started that, didn't he? When he was playing against Patrick Beverly,
Maybe,
right?
maybe.
I mean,
Maybe that was
figuratively and literally, right?
Because it was Mac Cardona telling everyone that, what's your height? It was the opposite, right? It was the opposite.
That's right. I forgot all about that. But, Matthew Wallace-Rosser, I think he's at his best when he's attacking that way. That was a nice crossover by MGR.
It's nice to see him confident again.
Yeah, and I think that's really, really important, Such a highly anticipated player coming into the league. Lots of talent still there. Thompson knocking down that pick and pop. Excuse me, Aldrich Ramos knocking down that pick and pop. But, what I like about this is that Terrafirma hung in there. There's still a lot of time here left, guys, but they stuck with it. They've been able to not only come back, but establish a 10-point lead with 7:37 left in this game.
14 seconds to shoot.
And in that last play, Ali, you saw just how important it was that Young Son had demanded so much respect from the defense, because a little space for Aldrich Ramos is all it takes for him to take a shot.
Yes, definitely. And, you know, it's very difficult to defend because of his size.
He's a pick and popper as well.
Pick and
so
popper.
again,
You're talking about 6'7",
Yep.
6'8",
and that's a very short pass.
Yes, yeah.
Our referee is trying to clarify if it is indeed a penalty. Yes, it will be. Marion Magat on the line now for 2. It's unfortunate that he injured his ankle off a sprain in their first game of the Pampanga restart.
It's like the first 5 minutes
Yep.
of the game, yeah.
No, first minute actually.
First minute.
2 misses from the stripe. And in a tight game like this one, those are painful. Chance now for Terrafirma to add on to their biggest lead of the matchup. Zelda, Aldrich Ramos, mid-range jumper is good.
Patience in the offense. Aldrich Ramos, the elder statesmen of this ball club, you know, really coming out strong in this fourth quarter.
How about 17 points, 7 rebounds, 7 of 11 from the field for Ramos in this ball game. They're up by a dozen. That pass tapped by Zelda, stolen. And you can see the energy just
Definitely. The
dive
energy,
for Blackwater.
Yeah, Blackwater's energy low right now. Looks like they're kind of feeling sorry for themselves here. I was mentioning that earlier on, particularly in the beginning of the third quarter. And just everything going well for Terrafirma. You see the excitement. You see each and every one of these guys happy to play with one another. And a chance. They understand they have a chance to really go on this winning streak.
Down by as many as 13, now up by 14. Total turnaround for the Terrafirma Jeep. With the defense of the Blackwater Bossing doing very well against Swami Chongson, other players needed to step up for the Terrafirma Jeep. One of those players, Reden Zelda. 10 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. He has been, you know, a big help to their offense alongside players like Aldrich Ramos in double digits, Andreas Kahilig in double digits, Rashawn McCarthy also scoring in double digits in this game.
Well, I mentioned, you know, Wami Chongson not being able to really get off offensively in this game because Blackwater was so concerned about them, but there was other players that needed to step up, and that's exactly what happened, particularly in the second half.
We have not seen James Laput come back after playing the first 3 minutes of this ball game, as Coach John Cardell has been more than happy with his rotation of Gabayni, Camson, Ramos, and Kahilig.
Well, I think that they just match up a lot better with the bigs of Blackwater. You know, Blackwater's bigs are a lot more mobile, a lot more agile. I also think that, you know, a lot more movement on the part of guys like Ramos, Kamson, Gabayni. and Matt Goodwell's roster playing that stretch 4 position.
Notice how confident the offense is for Terrafirma.
They're looking really good.
And now imagine how good it will be for them to win this ball game without the points coming from Wami
Well,
Chongson.
it's just what it's doing is it's delivering so much more confidence, and now you're just all this momentum, and you're talking about a young team, and nothing more better than being a coach for a team that's really excited, especially the struggles that they went through. All of a sudden now they got a chance to really turn things around in hopes of making the playoffs. But the last 5 minutes of this fourth quarter have been tremendous for Terrafirma because you see the energy, you see the positive energy, and you see them doing all the right things out there.
That was Dakiwag making a triple, but Zelda quickly taking it back. Too much space there given to him by the defense as he just elevated for the triple. Adds another free throw to his tally. Now, Ali, one of the challenges, of course, in this current setup is the games are only announced on Tuesdays for the entire week. So instead of having a plan to map out your entire tournament, because teams do that, right? I mean, you list down the teams that you have left, maybe plan out your rotation in preparation for all of those series of games. These teams do not have that. How difficult is it not knowing, who the next opponent will be?
I think it falls under the category of, the teams that are quick, much more quicker to adapt and make adjustments on the fly, right? A lot of that has to do with experience from your coaching staff, but also the players themselves. Those are the ones that are going to be the most successful.
Another good stop here for the Terrafirma Dyip as they've turned things completely around on the Blackwater bossing. Sean McCarthy from the outside, nothing there. Kahili quicker to the loose ball.
Great hustle by Kahili. Getting that offensive rebound.
Zelda uses the screen, had the ball stripped away from him momentarily. 1 second to shoot, comes on. Somehow sinks it, but it
Just
did
like
not
a
have
split
enough
second
time.
earlier. Yeah,
Yep.
that would have been crazy. But yeah, I said all that about adjustments, but we're talking about a PBA bubble that's just been on the fly for each and every one of these teams.
89-73 in favor of the Terrafirma Dyip. We have a timeout. It's been substitution by committee in terms of filling in those usual points coming from Wami Chongson, at least in their past 2 games. When you have a guy scoring almost 30 points per game and suddenly he's well defended, suddenly he's only scoring 5, the other guys have to pick it up. We talked about Zelda earlier, now we have to talk about Rashawn McCarthy.
Zelda in double figures. Now you got Rashawn McCarthy in double figures, 10 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and it looks like he's still looking for more with 4 minutes left in this fourth quarter.
You just saw our team standings, how Terrafirma is at 2 and 4, but if they hang on to this double-digit lead, the 16-point lead, they will leapfrog the Alaska Aces in our current team standings.
It's amazing how one win or a cluster of wins can really change the complexion, the trajectory of a team.
McCarthy, corner, triple, no good. But again, Terrafirma, just an extra spring in their step.
When you lose like this, there's a certain type of energy that is very, very difficult to get rid of, no matter how good things are going through the course of the game for you. The moment things start to go the other way for you, as in you start to lose the lead, you start to lose control of the game, it's all downhill. That's what I'm seeing from Blackwater. time and time again. It's got to be so frustrating.
And now look who's putting the finishing touches in what should be the third straight victory for the Terrafirma Jeep. Wami Chongson, only 7 points, but I'm sure that it doesn't matter to him how many points he scored as long as they take home the victory.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. At this point, I don't think any player is really concerned about, from Terrafirma that is, concerned about stats at this point. It's all about trying to get to the playoffs as a team.
Again, Blackwater and Terrafirma went to Pampanga with 0-4 records. And in the span of 3 games, everything changed for both the teams.
Definitely.
Chongson, short jumper, does not get the bounce as Nabong picks up the board. Kelly brings the ball down, attacks. Comes up empty. The tip-in is good though for Desiderio.
I think the most important thing here, just for the morale of Blackwater, is to keep playing hard. You know, not give up. You know, at some point they're going to be able to get a win, get their first win. Or who knows? Get a couple of wins.
Andres Ramos kicks it out to Chongson. Wami lost the ball on his way up. Desiderio with a takeaway. And Ciso for 3. No good. As Kahili chases down the loose ball. He has been so active.
Been very active. And you want to see that type of effort from all of you guys. But I've always been impressed with Coach Cardell. Especially when he first took over and the way he was able to deal with the situation and to really navigate in terms of what he expects from his players. It just seems that his players seem to have a respect for him.
Andreas Kahilig with a performance maybe comparable to Cliff Hodge, a little less athletic.
I would say that, yeah.
A little, better as a shooter, but a lot better as a shooter, especially from the outside. But his ability to defend bigger players and now chasing loose balls, diving for loose balls, it has been impressive.
That's the type of effort that's going to take, to become a consistent playoff team and to go deep into the playoffs. But Terrafirma can really put together a lot of wins. This looks to be their third straight win. And let's just say that they're able to go on a 4 or 5 game winning streak going into the playoffs. I mean, they're peaking at the right time. But for sure, they've definitely turned a lot of heads in the league. It's a team that you certainly have to be very concerned and weary about.
So they lost their first game, talking about Terrafirma, to TNT, Tropang Giga. Also lost to the NLEX Road Warriors, lost to Magnolia, and lost to Rainer Shine. So if you're looking at that, I mean, those 2 losses were to the 2 top teams, Magnolia and TNT.
And, at one point, Terrafirma was up against Rainer Shine.
That's true. So even those 2 losses, if TNT and Magnolia go out to be teams number 1 and 2, you can cancel those out because everyone else lost to them anyway.
That's true.
Right? So you start to focus on these games. Blackwater after SMB and Ginebra, of course. And your fellow middle of the pack teams, those would determine if you would reach the playoffs or not for the Terrafirma Jeep. That's Wami Chongson with the defense finally, letting off. They know that the result of this game is no longer in question, giving him the space to operate. He converts on a 3-point shot.
I think what's impressive about this win from Terrafirma is just their ability to really bounce back here. Staying in it, staying in the thick of things. Playing both ends of the court hard and, eventually being able to take over the lead and control the basketball game down the stretch.
But what does it say, Ali, about the ability of the rest of the team to step up when Wami Chongson could not take a shot?
Well, I think it's a great message. It's a great message to each and every one of these guys here. The coaching staff, but also the other teams that are watching.
Blackwater bossing will have to go back to the drawing board and figure out a way to score their first win, as they will suffer another loss, their 7th straight loss, this time at the hands of the Terrafirma Dyip. Your final score 96-84.
Great win for Terrafirma here, and you know, Blackwater back to the drawing board, unfortunately, but hats off to Terrafirma. They did a really good job in that second half. 3-game winning streak.
And our next level player of the game is Reden Zelda, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. And it's brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA. Wami Chongson struggling, another guard stepping up big time for Terrafirma Dyip.
It wasn't just the scoring, Carlo, but it was also the way he orchestrated and set up the offense, and you know, got many of his teammates involved. Always a promising thing, an encouraging thing when you know that you can rely on someone like Reden Zelda to pick up where Wami Chongson left off.
Amazing effort, top to bottom. It's everyone who saw some action for the Terrafirma Dyip doing very well for them. As you can see now, they leapfrogged even Barangay Ginebra San Miguel at 2 and 3 right now. And their game, which was supposed to be today against the Meralco Bolts, was later postponed. So our next matchup will be the Magnolia Hotshots Pambansang Manok and the TNT Tropang Giga. That will be what's next, coming to you from the Dovsu Gym. Right now we have the winning coach and the best player of the game.
Welcome to our post-game interview. Joining us are Terrafirma Dyip head coach John Cardell and our best player of the game, Reden Zelda. Congratulations, coach, and Reden.
Thank you po.
Congratulations po.
Thank you.
Reden, ano yung mindset nyo coming into the game? Ano yung pinag-usapan nyo ni coach bago yung game na to?
Sabi ni coach sa amin, parang take as a game, parang championship. So, every game talagang parang championship sa amin. Ready kami lahat. Yun lang.
Okay. Coach, ano yung idea behind not starting Wami Tiongson?
Wala kasi siyempre, Wami, mark na siya, no? He will try to stop him, no? But they're very successful stopping Wami, no? But I told you, some other guys there, like I know may lalaro pa sila, like Red Zelda now is the best player, no? Malaking bagay. And some other players naman, nandyan lang yan, eh. Okay? I told them na we have to be team, di ba? Tulungan natin. Try to help Wami to get open. Pag hindi, Wami will get the ball. He will be the one to decoy, di ba? Katulad now, Zelda have a great game, kaya malaking bagay sa amin to.
Coach, yung hustle po ni Andres Kahili.
Of course, Andres is always there, no? Kaya kung multi-position yan, he can play 2, 3, 4. He's very aggressive, the rebound, no? Not only Andre, everybody, Otep, and our veteran Eric Camson, Aldrich, everybody, Sean. Of course, may 12 players. Si Bros, hindi pa healthy, no? Galing lang sa injury. Hopefully, this next game, we will be okay.
Coach, 65 all after no third quarter and then dire-diretso na po kayo. Ano po yung nangyari?
I know it will happen. Sinabi ko nga sa mga players ko, they will show up, no pressure, di ba? And this is team, Blackwater is not only they have a great players, di ba? They have a great coach, ayun nga sinasabi ko. So we don't underestimate them. Yun nga nanalo, dumikit sila sa amin. But we focus, we stay humble, we stay as a team, as a defense, we play patience, kaya medyo nakalayo na kami.
Okay, Coach. Now we turn you over to our press friends. First up is Mr. Ray Hoble.
Okay. Hi, Coach. Congratulations.
Thank you po, thank you.
Coach, after a slow start, all of a sudden, biglang lumaki yung chance nyo for a playoff spot. So how do you like your chances?
Ganun talaga. Sabi ko nga, every game is very important. No? I told him, mahirap manalo, di ba? Not before pa lang San Miguel. Hindi kami makatulog, coaches. No? We see kung anong pwede namin gawin. No? But, sinuwerte kami the first game, the second game, this third game. I'm worried about this third game kasi ayokong baka mamaya maging complacent yung mga players ko. No? So I keep them pushing na treat this Blackwater as a strong team. But it's a strong team naman talaga. Siguro sa mga players din ng mga kaibigan ko, with Bossmon and AC, thank you. Lagi kayo nakasuporta sa amin, lalo na sa Blacktop. And of course, my family, my kids, and some of friends ko from Lomi Boys, mga rider, Jacob, Mel, maraming salamat sa mga dasal nyo. Mga kids ko, I love you anak, I love you.
Up next is Mr. Eros Villanueva.
Hi, Coach John. Congratulations po for
Thank you,
today's
thank you,
win. Tanong ko lang po sana about your two players. Great team, of course, from Rodel. Pero I want to focus lang din po sana on MGR tsaka si Aldrich. Kasi si MGR nung second quarter po, nung dunk nung 13 siya yung siguro nagpa-unclog nung passing lanes niyo tapos nagpaganda ng flow niyo sa offense. Tapos si Aldrich, good shooting, lalo na pag napupunta yung attention sa iba. Can you talk about the value of those two players po, especially yung entering today, medyo mark na nga si Wami and yeah.
Well, ako naman, I give them confidence. It's not Matt Roser, I know him, tagal na, San Miguel pa siya. When he came to me, sabi ko, this is it, I have a big point guard, He's a veteran also, and Aldrich is always there kasi this is a veteran also. Kaya ang ano ko lang is, ayokong yung tatlong panalo na kami, ayoko sila settle down, complain. Kasi marami pa kaming laro Diba? Kaya isa-isa lang, sana sa mga lahat ng games namin, ganito yung laro namin. I know, may mga bad games din. Okay? Tapos, siguro yung mga dasalan ng mga kaibigan ko, especially mga taga-Bulacan, si nanay, tatay, kuya, ate, mga taga-Bulacan, Saldiponso, hi kayo dyan. Sana po lagi kayo magdasal sa amin.
Your game highlights brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA. It was a 5-0 start for Terrafirma, but a 7-0 response for the Blackwater, bossing, capped by that three-point shot for Simon and Ciso.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked like Blackwater was going to really, jump out on Terrafirma, but also Terrafirma came right back. But we saw a lot of great point production by the guards of Blackwater. Basera Mer ended up with 11 points, or 13 points rather, in the ball game.
These one-on-one plays, courtesy of Amer and Tolomia, helped the Blackwater bossing get a 6-point edge, 22-16 at the end of the first quarter of action. In the second quarter, more of those guards. Look at this strong drive coming from Tolomia for this N1 opportunity.
Mike Tolomia scoring out of those scrambles there. We saw a lot of those types of offensive outputs. Paul Desidero getting stuck there, but finding Ed Giwak for a three-point shot. So again, Blackwater really controlling things in that second quarter.
They led by as many as 13 points, but then the comeback started to creep in. But then Zelda stayed confident. Matt Ganuelos Rosser with the assist.
A lot of that had to do, Carlo, with the offensive rebounds, the inside presence, the points in the paints by Terrafirma. But Blackwater being able to sustain the lead before halftime, that three-point shot by Simon and Ciso in the corner.
The third quarter has been a big problem for the Blackwater bossing, but they've made their adjustments. They look a lot better as compared to how they performed against Magnolia and TNT.
Well, it looked like they were very aware of that, starting the third quarter. So you saw a lot of great patience and a lot of good execution. But Terrafirma, after the break, they really came out. Sort of picked up where they left off the last 3 minutes of that second quarter, and they just kept pushing.
It was a tight third quarter. Ebb and flow, give and take, as Aldrich Ramos continued to be a presence on the shaded area and then on the outside as well for the Jeep.
Well, he had a really big night, and like you said, Carly, he made his presence felt. Part of that run by Terrafirma, especially into the fourth quarter.
But in the fourth quarter, in the opening minutes, the Jeep started to pull away. Their engines started to rev, courtesy of Reden Zelda.
Reden Zelda, player of the game. But we also saw a lot of great output by Matt Goodwillis Rosser, really attacking the basket, using his size and his athleticism.
Look at Zelda dice up the defense, set up Andres Cahilig for that big triple, and that was the stage where you just felt that the momentum of the game completely turned towards the side of Terrafirma.
You just saw Blackwater start to break and become unraveled, and it just always seemed to be the story for Blackwater, unfortunately. But Terrafirma, nonetheless, they get that win.
3 straight wins for the Terrafirma Jeep as they keep the Blackwater Bossing winless in the Philippine Cup. Up next, we have a big one for you. The Magnolia Hotshots Pambansang Manok going up against the TNT Tropang Gigas. Stay with us here on PBA Rush. That game is coming right up.